The lie that changed everything. My boss sent an email to the CEO of another company telling them I was unreliable. He told them I had attendance problems. He told them I couldn't be trusted with confidential information. All lies, complete lies. And he did it deliberately to sabotage my job interview. But here's what he didn't know. I found out. And I made sure he paid for it. Pause. Let me tell you exactly how I destroyed his career. I was working at Tech Corp as a project manager. The company was fine paycheck, fine benefits, fine job. But it wasn't where I wanted to be forever. One day I saw a job posting for VP of Project Management at StreamTech. This was the dream job. Bigger company, higher pay, better title. Everything I'd been working toward for 5 years. I updated my resume. I had excellent credentials. I'd led 17 successful projects at Tech Corp. I had testimonials from team members. I had documented success metrics. This was my shot. I submitted the application. 2 weeks later, I get a call from StreamTech. It's Rachel, the Chief Operating Officer. Hi, David. I loved your resume. I'd like to invite you in for an interview. Are you available next Tuesday at 10 a.m.? I almost fell out of my chair. This was happening. This was really happening. I said yes immediately. Hung up the phone. And then I made a huge mistake. I was so excited that I told my boss. His name was Eric. I said, "Hey, Eric, I got an interview at StreamTech for Tuesday." And I watched his face change. His jaw clenched. His eyes got narrow.
Super.
He said, "Oh, that's cool." But it wasn't cool. I could feel it. Something shifted in that moment. "When's the interview?" he asked. "Tuesday at 10 a.m., I said. Cool, he said. "Let me know how it goes." I should have known better. I should have kept my mouth shut. But I was excited and I wasn't thinking clearly. Tuesday morning comes. I'm nervous but excited. I put on my best suit. I practiced my answers. I was ready. I walk into StreamTech at 9:55 a.m., 15 minutes early, like always. Rachel meets me in the lobby. She looks different. She's not smiling like she was on the phone. She looks serious. Uncomfortable even. "David, thanks for coming in," she says. "Thanks for having me," I respond, shaking her hand. We sit down in the interview room. There's Rachel and another man I don't know. Let's call him Jim, the VP of Operations. "So, David," Rachel starts, "I have to say I loved your resume. Your credentials are excellent. But I got a concerning email this morning, and I need to talk to you about it." My stomach drops. "An email?" I ask. "Yes," Jim says, pulling up his laptop. "We received an email from your current employer, Eric Davidson. He's the VP of Operations at Tech Corp, correct?" My blood goes cold. "Yes," I say, "but what does—" "The email says that you have a history of attendance issues, that you've missed work frequently, that you had a confidentiality breach last year where you shared company information inappropriately, and that you're not reliable for high-level positions." I cannot breathe. This is insane. This is a complete lie. That's not true," I say. I don't know why he would say that. Rachel looks at Jim. They look at each other like, "He's lying." "David," Rachel says carefully, "do you know if Eric might have any reason to say these things?" And then it hits me like a punch in the gut. Eric sabotaged me. My own boss sabotaged my interview. The interview basically ends there. They don't even ask me questions about the job. They just ask me to explain the accusations. I try to explain that they're false, that I don't have attendance issues, that I've never had a confidentiality breach. But I can see in their eyes they don't believe me. Why would Eric lie? He's a VP. Why would he risk his reputation? I leave that meeting feeling absolutely destroyed. Rachel walks me to the door. "I'm sorry, David. If these accusations are false, we'd be happy to revisit this, but we'd need written verification from your employer that—" I can't even hear the rest. I know what's happening. Eric has killed this for me. I drive back to the office. I'm angry. I'm devastated. I'm confused. Why would Eric do this? Then it hits me. Eric was up for promotion. There were 2 positions opening up. VP of Operations, which he wanted, and VP of Project Management, which they offered to me last year and I turned down. If Eric got promoted, that PM position would open up. If I left the company, he could promote one of his cronies to fill. Instead of me getting promoted internally, Eric sabotaged me because he wanted me gone from the promotion track. Now I'm furious. But I'm also smart. I need evidence. I go to my computer and I do something that might not have been totally legal, but was definitely justified. I access the company email server using my credentials. I search for emails from Eric to StreamTech, and there it is. The email, his exact words. Dear Rachel and Jim, I felt obligated to inform you that David has some performance issues you should be aware of before moving forward with him. He has taken multiple unscheduled absences. He shared a client's financial data with another client last year, which was a serious breach. He also has a tendency to overpromise and underdeliver on projects. I would not recommend him for a leadership position. Every single word, a lie. I never took unscheduled absences. I have 0 unexcused absences on record. I never shared any confidential data. I don't even know what client data he's talking about. I don't overpromise on projects. My project success rate was 94%. The evidence is clear, and I have documentation for all of it. I spent the next 3 days putting together a file. I pulled every email I'd sent Eric with project updates. I pulled the performance reviews that said, "Excellent work." I pulled the client testimonials. I pulled my attendance record showing 0 unexcused absences. Then I did something Eric didn't expect. I emailed Rachel back. I wrote, "Rachel, I want to address the email you received from Eric. I don't know why he sent it, but I want to provide context. I have 0 unexcused absences in 3 years. I have never shared any confidential information. My project success rate is 94%. I'm attaching documentation for all of this. I also want to let you know that I believe Eric deliberately sabotaged my application because he's concerned about internal competition for promotions. I'm not interested in the job under these circumstances, but I wanted you to know the truth about what happened." And then I attached everything. But I didn't stop there. I also contacted HR at TechCorp. I filed a formal complaint against Eric for defamation and sabotage. I submitted all the same evidence. Eric Davidson sent false information to an external company to prevent me from being hired. I stated in my complaint, "This constitutes defamation and interference with employment." Then I contacted StreamTech's HR directly. I said, "I'm not interested in the job anymore, but I wanted to formally state that you received false information from my employer. Here's the proof." Now, here's where it gets really good. StreamTech, it turns out, takes these things very seriously. They reached out to TechCorp's legal team. They said, "We received false information from your VP of operations about one of your employees. This could expose you to liability." Suddenly, TechCorp's legal team is involved. They investigated Eric's claim. They interviewed every team member I'd worked with. They reviewed my attendance records. They reviewed my work product. Their conclusion, Eric lied. Completely fabricated. Eric was fired, not demoted, not transferred, fired. The reason given was violation of company standards regarding truthfulness and professional conduct. Basically, he got fired for being a liar. But wait, there's more. Because Eric sent that email to an external company, making false claims about me. StreamTech considered pursuing legal action against TechCorp. They eventually decided not to, but only after TechCorp paid a settlement to StreamTech for damages. TechCorp did not recover that money from Eric, but they were not happy with him, which is why they fired him. Eric left with a massive stain on his record. No severance. No recommendation letter, just gone. And the beautiful part, I got promoted to VP of Project Management at TechCorp about 4 months later. The promotion that Eric was trying to prevent, I got it anyway. Just took a different path. People think they can do whatever they want if they have power. They think they can lie about you. They think they can sabotage you. They think they can destroy your opportunities. But the truth is, people always find out. What Eric didn't realize is that sabotaging someone leaves a trail. Email trails, digital trails, and eventually someone investigates. Don't be like Eric. Don't be the person who lies to get ahead. Because when the truth comes out, and it always does, you're not just going back to where you started. You're going down hard. If you've ever been sabotaged like this, I want to hear about it. Comment below. Like this video if you believe in consequences for liars. Subscribe for more workplace justice stories. And share this with someone who needs to know that lies don't stay hidden forever.